All right, happy Tuesday night, everybody. Welcome on into Raiderland Worldwide Headquarters. Glad you're with us this evening. You're going to be conversating on that United Supermarkets and Market Street chat line. That's right, the supermarket that takes care of Texas Tech, puts their name on Texas Tech stuff, versus the one in town that takes your money. Oh, they're happy to take your money. Send it down to Austin, slap it on a scoreboard down there, and well, you get the idea. All right, the early arrivals, you know what to do. Let us know the audio is good, the video is good. Give us thumbs up. Jump in there wherever you are on Twitter X at Ryan Hyatt Media, our YouTube channel. Thanks for getting us over 500 subscribers. Let's keep driving that. Let's go to 1,000 now. Why not? Keep sharing that, everything we do for Ryan Hyatt's Raiderland. And then on Facebook, thousands of people on Facebook. We appreciate y'all for Ryan Hyatt's Raiderland. Stuff to do tonight. Major League Baseball All-Star Game, Texas Tech football, paying out millions and millions and millions of dollars. And then Tuesday's best, we're talking kickers and punters. Hold on a second, I got something in my eye. Is that West Texas in my eye? It could be. That or I just got really dirty contact lenses that need to be cleaned. Let's do the show in 3, in 2. Good evening, West Texans, all you good, fine, friendly folks out there who wish you were. I'm Ryan Hyatt, theraiderland.com, where you start your day every day. We give you the hot links, cool, fresh stuff that you need to know. We give you the question of the day and catch up on everything that's going on around the world of Raiderland. Brought to you tonight by South Plains College in Levelland. The road to Raiderland runs through Levelland. A lot of great Red Raiders started off as great Texans. They're beginning their enrollment, I think, fairly soon for the fall semester. And, you don't have to be a college student to go out there. Continuing education, fun stuff, cooking classes. I mean, they've got everything you need to make your life better there in Levelland. So check it out. See if it's right for you. Also brought to you by Ultra Exteriors here in Lubbock. Warren Taylor is our man there. Now, we had the big hailstorms and all the wind damage and everything else. So people got roofs, they got siding, they got windows. Check, check, check. Warren Taylor, Ultra Exteriors. They can do all that. Work with your insurance company. They get it done at an expedited rate or whenever you need it done. But they've been doing this for a lot of years. So give my man Warren Taylor a holler and tell him we sent you here from Raiderland. All right. Let's get you guys going on the United Supermarkets chat line tonight. Greatest Major League Baseball players you met in person. That's one of the topics. Tuesday's best, the greatest and best kickers and punters all time. Your favorite kickers and punters. We say that special teams, all three sides of the ball. We got to be great on defense, offense, and special teams. I'm telling you, coaches have always ignored special teams. They'll do it at the end of practice. We'll do this. Kickers and punters never get their just reward. Your favorite ones over the years. And I have a reason for asking this question tonight, and it came to be in the middle of the night. And we'll tell you why here in just a little bit. From barefoot kickers to great, and this could be a Tech thing. You got a lot of guys to choose from over the years with Texas Tech, Cowboys, NFL, otherwise. And then finally, On 3 Sports Today reporting that the Texas Tech roster this year, and I've heard that the Tech roster is 20 million, 30 million, 40 million. They're reporting today that it's $28 million, that them and Texas are the two highest, according to On 3 Sports, football rosters per payout. I don't think they're correct, and I'll tell you why. Now, it's time for you guys to get in on your thoughts, your comments, whatever's on your mind. Major League Baseball All-Star Game tonight. That's one of the reasons why we're talking about the coolest, the best, the greatest Major League Baseball players you've ever met. Shake hands with, have more than a moment. I would say more than a moment of getting an autograph. Now, if you want to go that route and say, hey, yeah, I was, paying $20 and I'm standing in line and said major leaguer said, yeah, what's your name? Ed. All right, Ed Chigalak. Keep Sicily, Alaska weird. Good luck to you, Ed Chigalak. Anybody who gets that reference, I'll be proud of you tonight here on the show. So, a little bit more than just a passing deal. You tell me what you got on that. The impetus for the the impetus for the Tuesday's best topic, and every Tuesday we give you a topic and you give us the two best answers. It was last night, about 12 something. Get up, go to the bathroom. It's dark and everything, and long story short, I catch my right pinky toe on a massive scale that we have in the bathroom. Think old school doctor's office scale, or you do your height on it. It's got the sliding deals and everything. It's a really cool scale. Here's the deal. The scale doesn't move. My toe did. And this afternoon, I don't know that it's broken. I'm beginning to think it's probably not broken, but it hurts like hell. And it's been hurting like hell all day and all night. So while I'm sitting there, lying there last night, hoping that the sheets don't move, that there is no movement towards that toe. I got the bleeding stopped. Everything's good. I'm like, oh, we could talk about kickers. I don't know why it came to me during that moment, talking about kickers, barefoot kickers. Always wanted to be a barefoot kicker back in the 70s, 80s. Tried it a few times. Stupidest thing I ever did. And your favorite punters. So who would those be? Now, Texas Tech has one of the greatest all-time kicker stories, in Linwood, in Williams, back in 2008. But there are many others that you'd throw out there for your favorite ones over the years. Who gets the nod? Where do you go on that? And then on the Tech Ball roster deal being $28 million, I disagree from the standpoint. You guys get your comments in, your questions in on the United Supermarkets chat line. Fire away. We're ready for you on any and all topics. I disagree with them saying it's $28 million. That doesn't, the math doesn't add up for me. So let's do a little math here really quick. You got $22.5 million, right? So hold on, I got to back up here. Doing math in real time. There's that. All right. So, okay. Point. It's got to be a little bit more than that. I think Texas Tech is probably north of 30, north of 35. I think Texas is probably north of that. That you take in the money that you're doing out of the $22.5 million pool, 75% of that, then you add in the NIL, which is outside, and the NIL stuff still is not coming. I think the lawsuits that are coming on the College Sports Collective and Deloitte reviewing all the NIL deals, I think all of that is just going to go, yeah, we don't care. We're going to pay it. And you guys, who's going to enforce it? What, the NCAA is going to come back a year from now and say, yeah, you paid that guy too much in NIL. That wasn't a real deal. You owe us who? You owe who? Or whom? You owe whom $1 million? We're going to take away scholarships. And the schools are going to say, I don't think we're going to allow you to do that today. That's not going to happen. So I think the real cost of the Texas Tech, roster is probably closer to 35 or 40 million than $28 million that On3 is reporting. I think they do a pretty good job for the most part doing what they do. But I think they're probably off on this. I think they're off on Tech and Texas and most of the other schools out there. Tuesday's best, favorite kickers, favorite punters. And then Major League Baseball players, the best ones you've met in person, All-Star game going tonight. All right, I get the feeling, and every now and then this happens. Not often, every now and then this happens. I think sometimes we have a problem seeing some of your comments and some of your questions coming in on our third-party streaming apparatus. We use StreamYard. We love StreamYard. It's great. We appreciate them. But every now and then, and I think this may be one of them tonight, The comments just aren't coming up, that I'm not seeing those. Can't post comments from, no, can't do that. So when that happens, I'm pretty much speaking a soliloquy, which I have no problem doing, having done radio for 30 years plus everything else that, you know, I have no problem doing that. But every now and then, I think sometimes we'll get throttled down on the comments. For whatever reason, they don't always come in. There you go, Ryan, jumping in, test comment. All right. So we get that off Facebook, YouTube channel, and Twitter X. Not getting anything there. And I'm proud of Brian for jumping in and doing that. So I appreciate that. Jeff, as a former kicker, I've always liked Keith Toogood and Jonathan from SM. Jonathan, what? Come on now. SMU in the early 90s? I do not remember that kicker. And I'm afraid to say that name because it could be nasty. By the way, greatest tech stack punter all time. Well, maybe not all time. You got Donnie Anderson, but you know, Mark Bounds, Jonathan Stewart, SMU early 90s after the death penalty. Okay, don't remember it all. We have a nomination from David Collier, who must be done doing TV. KMEC 28, Red Raider Nation. Brenner, everybody. Dangerous name. Another great kicker punter. We're celebrating Tuesday's best favorite kickers and punters after I thought I'd broke my toe this swing. Maury Buford, early 80s. Ron Reeves to the right, Ron Reeves to the left, Ron Reeves up the middle. Maury Buford punting for 56 yards. And that was when my dad in the early 80s taught me the concept of out-kicking your coverage. And he did that routinely. He kicked it so far, Tech wasn't good enough to cover it. Ends up with the Chicago Bears on the 85 Bears. Maury Buford in the Super Bowl Shuffle video. Only Tech kicker, I think, that has been in a Super Bowl video that way. Ryan, now we're getting to go now. Reggie Roby was cool. Only black punter in the early 90s. Go back before that, in the 80s. Reggie Roby. Ray Guy and Reggie Roby, their toes got farther up in the air. Ray Guy was my guy in 70s punt, pass, and kick competition. You wanted to be Ray Guy. Yeah, Reggie Roby. Was it against the Oilers or playing for the Oilers? He had a great fake punt run one time. Did he ever play for the Oilers? He played for the Dolphins for the most part. Tuesday's best favorite kickers, punters all time. Major League Baseball players, the coolest ones, the best ones you've met in person. Mine's really lame. Forgive me, but it's Nolan Ryan. All right? I know. It's lame, but it's Nolan Ryan. Extended conversation beyond just a grin. And it occurred at the ballpark in Arlington in 1997 when I walked into the wrong room up there on the press level and found myself in a press conference standing next to a group of people, including Nolan Ryan, welcoming in, I believe it was R.A. Dickey, who was getting signed by Tennessee, out of Tennessee. And I'm just standing there. All of a sudden, flash bulbs are going off. I came through the wrong door. But it turned into a nice little visit for a couple of minutes. Michael on YouTube, Ryan Hyatt's Raiderland for YouTube. Appreciate everybody driving us over 500. Everybody out there, please do what you can to continue to grow it. Share with your friends, family, people you don't even know. Met Red Sox great Kevin Larr and Chris Rose when they were filming an Intentional Talk episode. Nice enough to get a picture with me as well. That's cool. Jeff just likes to smile. Meanwhile, Jeff going back to the Dallas Cowboys, Rafael Septien minus his weirdness. Yeah. Allegedly fondling an underage girl who was, I believe, in a wheelchair. Can't go there. Go back to Efrain Herrera. Efrain Herrera is who you want, not Rafael Septien. Ray Finkel. Come on. Mine's lame too. When was never a star, but a journeyman. Bill Duran, Billy Duran, Houston Astros, nicest pro athlete I ever met. Michael, definitely not that Alabama crew that beat Tech in the Cotton Bowl. I like Dallas Cowboys, Brandon Aubrey. I can't remember the kicker's name for Alabama, who just watermeloned one through. I was not at my son was an infant child, so I wasn't traveling right then. I was doing basketball, but I wasn't traveling for anything else. That Cotton Bowl game during downtime for me for a few days during basketball just worked out, and we all didn't think he went through. The hell was that kicker's name? Don't know. Greatest Major League Baseball players you've met in person. Who are they? Anybody remember the first Major League Baseball player you ever met? That'd be interesting. Or got an autograph from. All-Star game tonight. Here's hoping that the All-Star game, let's not kid ourselves. It's going to suck. But, maybe something interesting will happen. Favorite kickers and punters all time because I thought I broke my toe. And when I was a kid, I wanted to be a barefoot kicker. The 70s and the 80s was the era of the barefoot kicker. Tony Franklin, was Art Slavin a barefoot kicker? Who was that? Everybody seemed to have a barefoot kicker. And I tried it a couple of times. Dumbest thing I ever did. Hurt like hell. You couldn't control it. I don't know why anybody ever went away from the square-toed kicking shoe. Why did we ever go away from that? And then is Texas Tech's football roster really a $28 million roster the way On3 Sports says? I say it's not. I think it's much more than that. I think it's a hell of a lot closer to 40 than it is $28 million. The pull quote from that was apparently a source, and my friend Rob Bro on Twitter, at Rob Bro Show, doing a nice job on that, saying, really, a source saying that Tech has to pay 3 times because of location is a bunch of crap. That's like saying the Kansas City Chiefs have to pay 3 times what the Rams or the Giants or Jets or, fill in the blank. Yeah. I don't want to go there. You get the idea. Ryan, Jonathan Garibay, always be remembered for that ISU kick. Absolutely 100%. Gary gets in on the YouTube channel. Ryan Hyatt's Raiderland. Everybody on YouTube, share it, grow it, bring people in. First I ever met was Keith Moreland. So Keith Moreland, University of Texas, multiple teams in Major League Baseball, was with the Cubs in 84 in the mid 80s, and that's where I became a fan of Keith Moreland. Flash forward to the mid 90s when I'm doing Texas Tech baseball, mid to late 90s, mid 90s and then late 90s again with Mark Finkner, 97, 98, 99. And we're down in Austin at Dish Falk, me and Fink calling the game against Texas. It's chippy, and we think there's going to be a brawl. And I look at Finkner during the timeout. I say, if the teams brawl, we're going to go down and brawl with we're going to fight the broadcast team. We're going to fight them. We're going to fight Texas radio broadcasters. And Finkner looks at me like I'm crazy. So their crew that day was Bill Schoening, who was still doing UT Sports before going to the Spurs. So it's Bill Schoening and Keith Moreland doing color. And I told him, I said, straight up, I said, dude, I've got Bill, you got Moreland. Never came to blows, but I was not. Keith Moreland, by the way, does the greatest Harry Carey impersonation that's ever been done. Nobody does a better Harry Carey impersonation than Keith Moreland. And over the years, got to know him just a little bit. And he's a big fan of Texas Tech. He really is, and what Tech baseball has done, and has always been very complimentary on the broadcast about Tech. So yeah, but I was not going to fight his ass. I was going after Bill Shoney. I figured that was a fair deal. Bill had worked down there in La Mesa years ago at KPET. I figured that would work. Good stuff, Gary. Was the Erksleben that played at Tech his son? Yeah. Whoa, hold on that rodeo. Ryan Erksleben, I think. So he's punting for Tech in 2013, 2014. I think a son. I think you're right. Unless it was a nephew. Dadgummit, I should know this, and I apologize. Collier, who's still on, I think, might be able to clarify. I think it was a nephew. No, it might be his son. Ryan Erksleben, though. David Collier, speaking of which, came at 28 sports director. Talking tonight, Tuesday's best. Favorite kickers and punters all time. Okay, it was his son. All right. I was talking myself out of that, but yeah. Favorite kickers and punters all time after I kicked my toe into a giant, scale yesterday and last night. Thought I broke it. I physically bumped into Frank Robinson at a Cardinals game, after a Cardinals game, says Guy, that he was calling in St. Louis. He realized I knew he was and quickly ran off to avoid the crowd of fans standing near us looking for current players' autographs. Come on, Frank Robinson. First player to win MVP, 2 different leagues? Can't remember. Jeff says Pat McAfee. I don't think so. All right, so final few minutes of the show tonight. Greatest Major League Baseball players you've met in person. Like I said, mine's lame because it's Nolan, but he's literally that high up the list. And if I start going through all the others that I've met, it kind of pales in comparison to Nolan Ryan. I got lucky. You meet Nolan Ryan. You're standing. So I walked into the wrong room, and we're there, and they're snapping pictures. And I'm pretty sure it was R.A. Dickey out of Tennessee that they were signing that day. And there we go. And then all of a sudden, because I froze, I froze. And it's kind of breaking up. And there's that awkward moment where the photographer kind of walks off, and then everybody's just standing around talking, and it's all the people that should be there and me. And I'm right next to Nolan Ryan. So, what do you do? Quote, "That's good to see you. Yeah, I don't know who you are and why you're here. Hey, and then I fessed up and said, I just walked through the wrong freaking door. I was getting some hot dogs over there in the concession stand. I walked through the wrong freaking door. I'm just a media guy." And he kind of laughs, kind of, hey, where are you from? I'm from Lubbock, Texas. Oh, all right. Yeah, Texas Tech, man. Yeah, good old Larry Hayes. See, because Nolan, after he retired, had worked with TCU. So he was in the college baseball circuit. So, I mean, we got this thing going on. So, yeah, I remember you working with TCU and everything, and Lance Brown and all that stuff. Yeah, man, that was really cool. Yeah, man, that was really cool. Well, all right. Now I've got to make my way back in through the hot dog door. Yeah, he's not like 6'4", 240, but he's a big, solid guy. Was back then. Kickers have gotten much better over the years. Anything under 50 has to be automatic now. Yeah, we blame Tucker on that, I guess. Jeff, it's just a question, Ryan. thoughts, Pat, of McAfee? I have no thoughts of McAfee. I don't think of McAfee. I think not of McAfee. Jan, talking about greatest Major League Baseball players you've met all time. Willie Mays, Willie Starts, both in Atlanta, Tommy Lasorda in LA. Okay. All right, Jan, this is beautiful. Tommy Lasorda, did he cuss? When you met him, did he cuss? Did he go blue? Because the man could curse like unbelievable. I have multiple friends in the media who interviewed him different times and were like amazed at the blue streak he could cuss. And then you put the mic on and get started, and all of a sudden now he's Tommy Lasorda talking about Italian food and pizza and all this stuff, and it's great. And he rips it off. He's like, that was sorry. I can't believe it. And you're like, hey, Tommy Lasorda. Did Tech have a yes? Not Brian Hall. Oh gosh, I always get this wrong, and I'm embarrassed. Maybe it was Hall. In the early 70s, kid out of, I think, Delhart did have a partial foot, sort of like Dempsey. And I'm blanking out now, and this is embarrassing as hell. And I should know this cold, and I just blanked out. I want to say Hall, but that doesn't. Adams? Bill Adams? Blade Adams? Dadgummit. Anyhow, you are correct. It was, say, 73, 74 running through there. And I'm gonna get the name wrong, and I hate that. Now, I always do this. And Don Williams would make fun of me back in the 90s and 2000s and all during the show that I would always get this wrong. How do I not keep this? You ever get a mental block on a name? Yeah. Yes, Timbo, you are correct. Jeff, I got shades of Chris Farley. You remember when? Yeah. I've done that, a couple of times. That's kind of the way I was. I was Chris Farley when I, as an adult, the first time I met Roger Staubach in 1990 at Reunion Arena. We're standing in the same concession line down on the lower level. Had media credentials. He was just rich and powerful and famous. And I realized that Roger Staubach standing behind me in the beer line, and all I can do is I kind of turn around and, hey, Roger Staubach, man. I'm like, hey, Mr. Staubach, can I buy you a beer? And he gently taps me on the shoulder. I'm still a big guy. Taps me on the shoulder. That's okay, son. I think I can get this one. Okay. Yeah, remember that time you tried to buy Roger Staubach a beer and he shut you down? Yeah. Yeah, that's great. Good times. Texas Tech football roster, 20 million. I disagree on 3. I think it's more than that. I think it's much closer to 40 than it is 28, and that's okay. The pull quote still, again, Tech didn't have to pay 3 times what other places have to do to get them to come to Lubbock because of location. If they have to pay 3 times, it's because Tech hasn't won. It's because Texas Tech doesn't have skins on the wall. That Texas Tech has meandered around college football for the last 15, 20 years or so, and not really done much that makes an average recruit go, yeah, I got to go there, and they're going to give me money. No, they go, I'll go there because they're going to give me money. So that aspect is legit. But that's no different from most of the college football locations around the country. Lincoln, Nebraska, got to pay 30% more to go up there, right? I don't know how many of y'all have been to Tuscaloosa. Really? How many of y'all have spent time in South Carolina? In that area of the world? The Clemsons, the water. Really? That's such a garden? I mean, again, like I say, if it's all about location, Hawaii has the #1 team, San Diego State, undefeated. And then, Miami would be unstoppable. Yet they seem to be stoppable, don't they? few more comments before we get out of here tonight. I want you guys to do a couple of things for us, by the way, this evening before we wrap up. Everybody who's watching, you enjoy this, subscribe to all of our platforms. They're all free, from Ryan Hyatt's Raiderland on YouTube, which, hey, you guys got us over 500. Let's go for 1,000. Share that, amplify it, do that. Our Facebook page, free as well. We do a lot of different stuff on Facebook and Twitter at Ryan Hyatt Media. A lot of you guys are already on there, but maybe there's a few that aren't. Alan, Tech pays 30% more because they want to win, and more importantly, because they can pay more. Yep, and that bothers some schools. Anybody can do what Texas Tech is doing right now. Anyone can do it. I just didn't realize so many schools out there were poor and weren't committed to winning college football games and college basketball games and based on everything else, Jeff, it's not Lubbock, it's history. Our facilities take a backseat to no one, especially, I like saying especially, in this conference. Nationally, the facilities are there 100%. And then Jan, yes, he did go back to Tommy Lasorda and cursing a blue streak. That's my man, Tommy Lasorda. All right. I think we've done all we can do tonight. Wednesday is What If Wednesday, brought to you by the Shropshire Agency. Shropshire Insurance of Texas, independent, just like all great West Texans. And no matter where you live in Texas now, you can get Shropshire Insurance. Check out their website, find out what they can do for you. Now, on What If Wednesday, we go alt history. You don't have to ask what if when it comes to insurance if you've got Shropshire Insurance. You need to call Jeff this week. Check out their stuff. That's going to be tomorrow. I want to thank again South Plains College. A lot of great Red Raiders started off as great Texans. The road to Raiderland runs through Levelland. Also, Ultra Exteriors, roof, windows, siding, everything beat up on your house. You even want a bathroom remodel? I don't know. But Warren Taylor knows how to fix it, make it better, get it done, all in one fell swoop. You need to call Ultra Exteriors. And everybody who got in tonight, you got in tonight thanks to United Supermarkets and Market Street, the one grocery store that supports the dog out of Texas Tech, as opposed to that dog that takes money down south and throws it around out of your wallet. Jeff, the final comment of the night. It's like everyone forgot what Phil Steele and Boone picks. Phil Steele, Phil Knight. Phil Steele just writes a great college preview magazine. Don't be hating on Phil Steele. We can probably get him on this show maybe in the next few weeks. Yeah, Boone Pickens, Oklahoma State. Yeah, it's legal now. I'm sorry, Phil Steele. Dang old Phil Steele, man, writing that magazine, throwing money around. The hell are you thinking, Phil? I may have to screenshot that and send it to him. All right, you guys are the best. We appreciate all you do. Had a lot of fun. Again, the next thing you do for me tonight is share this with all your friends, all right? Share this with all your friends. Invite them in to theraiderland.com.